Give you this ring.
Give you this ring.
His name is
Samuel Mora.
My name is Maureen Mwaura. I am an administrator. We've been married for 9 years.
My name is Mwaura. I'm a businessman. We've been here for a while.
How we met in 1997 when we were was feeling lonely, you have no one to talk to. Yeah, there are people, but you can't talk to everyone. But I found a friend in him. So when I met him, I didn't know it would lead to say I love you. And for me, because we had grown to be brother and sister, it didn't go well with me. It was very difficult for me to change from a brother to a sweetheart.
because there is nothing hidden. Everything looks good. Yeah.
It took time for me to fall in love. It took time. I went with the confidence that God had spoken to me.
Let me tell you, the whole day, if you watch the video, you wouldn't tell what time it is.
Everything was okay.
The wedding was superb. I think what makes it interesting for me is that I was a fourth year in KU. I've been doing a lot of painting. I did fine art in school. And then now the small commissions I was getting, I was putting towards the painting, the wedding. And it was interesting for us to have done a very huge budget for the wedding. Being a student, she was employed but earning peanuts. But we were able to do a very huge budget and mobilize friends to support us to be able to fund it. I think that was a highlight. It was exactly a month to my graduation in school. And I think I was really happy, and my colleagues were quite happy that we were able to pull this in the midst of academics. It was a great day. It was at Barclays Sports Club in Ruaraka. A very bright day. We had asked that we want it was in June, and we kept wishing that it would be a day where the weather is dark clouds and no rain. Let me tell you, the whole day, if you watch the video, you wouldn't tell what time it is. You wouldn't tell what time it is throughout the day, because it was, just like you were saying, it had constant lighting throughout the day. And very bright. Everyone came from Western Kenya and from Central Kenya, and we celebrated. Yeah.
The highlight of my day, my wedding day, was walking down the aisle. Yeah, because in our entire family, don't know, from our ancestors, that was the first wedding. That was the first wedding in the family. And I was so proud of myself, that I kept myself. In our community, they would expect that you get a child, in fact, several of them, and then you just elope with a man. But they were really amazed that I kept myself and, brought a man home, paid dowry. Now we are going to wed. So it was an excitement for me. I kept feeling, the favor of God, that God has allowed me to just celebrate that day. So for me, it was exciting, walking down the aisle, everyone watching, That was the best day of my life. Before we went for the honeymoon, I remember that evening, when you're told, smile, smile for the camera the whole day. So when it gets to evening, you're somehow having a very terrible headache, because you've kept smiling the whole day, Even when things are going wrong, you're just smiling. So we went, after the wedding, we went to Utalii Hotel. That is where we were spending the night. So we were taken by our best couple, to Utalii. We changed into some dinner dress, and so we went to Safari Park. We had dinner with our best couple, and then now we were taken back to Utalii. So that is where we spent our night. And then now the following morning, they also came to pick us, and we went to Mombasa. Did anything go wrong? I would say no and yes. I don't know. I really can't tell the exact, but the only thing I noticed was for the page, are they called the page boys?
Yeah.
The suits were not ironed. That is the only thing I noticed. But because it was my day, I really didn't care much. Yeah, I just enjoyed my day.
Kids really affect relationships.
A wedding is just a one-day event. I wish I invested into my marriage.
Then we would come late and do things whichever you can even do things in reverse. track, they can change. And I think that is not expected. You would think they will appreciate everything. Some things
And so it got harder. You know, you have bills to pay.
bits. I, 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 I see people trying to get anyone and, you know, start consoling themselves that they will change. And I think changing a human being, an adult, is the hardest thing that you can engage in. So
is key.
Won't you be my Juliet and I'll be your Romeo,
My love, you are my love, oh.
Won't you be my Juliet and I'll be your Romeo, my love.
You are my love, oh.
Won't you be my
Juliet and I'll be your Romeo, my love. You are my love, oh. And that's our
is
love
our
story.
love story.